Welcome back. Episode 38. Yours truly.
What's up, shitbags? Welcome back to the next episode. Just thank you guys so much. Thank everybody for listening. Hope everybody had a great holiday season. Kind of pushing through a bunch of episodes. We had a bunch of recordings recently, so everything's coming out at the same time, but it's been pretty cool that we're just going back to back with some great people. So thank you guys for listening, for that support that's making it happen. Huge thanks to Toxic Suppression, Crew First, Jobtown, Taylor's Tins, just awesome people. We'll be having our first Toxic Suppressions getting us in touch with a guy, kind of a first sponsored special episode, I guess you want to call. So that'd be pretty cool, bringing a EV guy on to talk about that. We've mentioned it a couple times here, so it'd be cool to get an outlook on that, and just cool how everything keeps going. So not going to waste any more time. I think we can bring in the the guy everybody's here for to listen to. Yeah. I mean, speaking of just coming full circle and progressing, it's awesome that we're able to have Bobby back on the episode here, and we can't thank him enough for coming on. So without further ado, let's bring him in here.
Hey, Bobby, what's up, guys? How you doing? What's going on?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm good, man. Good.
Awesome. For those that don't know you, why don't you give a quick introduction about yourself, and we'll hop in.
My name's Bobby Eckert. I'm a fire captain in Camden, New Jersey. Getting ready to start my 20th year. And I own Eckert Fire Tactics LLC, and I have 4 kids. Go Flyers.
Hell yeah. Awesome. We said we loved your bios so much every time. They're just nice and small. You never sent me your shoe size though. I do think people want to know.
10 and a half. 10 and a half wide, baby. 10 and a half wide.
No, it's awesome. The simpler the better. But yeah, I mean, thanks again for coming back on. We said it was episode 15 was the time you're on there, so we've almost doubled our episodes since then. So it's pretty cool.
Good for you guys. Congratulations.
Everybody coming back on. Yeah, thank you very much. We'll jump into the questions we got for you. So the first one, Brent and I both follow you both on social media, and we know you kind of share some of your own. You have some that it seems you rely on a little bit, but we just want to know, is there a quote or a set of quotes that you feel drive you daily?
It's a good question. I wouldn't say a quote. I'm not a quote guy because I've been misquoted. So, you never know if that quote's made up or not. I think how I was raised by my parents is something that drives me daily, just as a human being. As a human being, there are days where I don't want to do a goddamn thing, but I have 4 individuals that are under 18 that depend on me getting up and moving. So it's not much just a quote. I'm a very driven person, and I always have been. I wish I wasn't because it's exhausting, but I just try to move, man. I'm always moving. It's important for my family it helps them, progress in life. So I guess it's more of inspiration would be about my children.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, like you said, maybe you've been misquoted before, but just a lot of the stuff even that you share, like we were just talking about, we were panning through and getting refreshers and the opinions one you had. You're talking about kind of in the fire service, the experience, living in the moment. And we'll talk about it in the next one. But at the end, you said there was a time where opinions were earned, and maybe we should go back to that golden age. Like to us, that's a quote. That's a quote.
I can't believe these 20-year-old kids say the shit they say. It's unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. And sadly, they do it on the internet, and there is literally no repercussion. When I was 20, if I would have said something to a 20-year firefighter the way these guys say it, I would have been knocked on the ground. And that's a big problem. And I'm not saying violence. And I mean that figuratively. And but I'm just saying it's I just remember a time in the fire service where you had to earn every single inch, and you were with such amazing people with seniority, and you weren't even allowed. I remember when I grew up in my firehouse I grew up in as a kid, there was a circle table outside in the apparatus floor, and the guys would sit there and drink coffee and smoke cigarettes. And I remember one time when I was like a junior, like maybe 15 or 16, I sat at the table, and this old guy looked over me. He's like, "Get the fuck up." He's like, "If you want to sit here, He's like, you got to earn it. And it's true. I mean, not that opinions don't matter, but there's also a time and place for them, and there's a way to go about things.
Oh yeah.
And I think the way to go about things, the endearing way to do it, or maybe the traditional way, is just lost with the internet, social media.
Yeah. That was kind of a big reason that we formatted the way that we did here. I mean, we're 20-year-olds, but everywhere we looked and we went, like, it wasn't as much of people trying to get that experience anymore. It was, like you said, sharing the opinions. And we were like, why does it have to be that we think we know everything? Like, we don't. We want to sit down with those veterans, those 20-year guys and girls, and actually like learn from them and ask questions, and not be sitting here like, yeah, I know, I went to fire school, I know exactly how everything goes nowadays. Like,
yeah, it's just, and again, it's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel. Especially in the last year, I've kind of just, my whole mind shift has totally changed in this whole fire service instruction thing. And when I tell you that I don't fucking care anymore, not meaning education. I'll educate as much as I can because it's very therapeutic to me. I love giving back, but what you think of me, I do not care. And find me a parking lot and I'll meet you there. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care. I don't care anymore, because it is going way too far with these people, way too far, from my children being threatened, my family being threatened, my life being threatened. It's firefighting. It's firefighting. And I'm a career fireman. I'm only a fireman when I'm at work. So, I have other hobbies as well that I'm really into that have nothing to do with the fire service. And it's just going way too far with these people, and the entitlement of multiple people. And I'm talking from some of the big names out there to anybody. It's disgusting. And everybody just wants to be relevant to their ego. It's insane. There are so many people out there on the national stage teaching that could give a shit less about you being a better firefighter at your fire. They care about the check that they're receiving at that conference. They don't care. They don't care. And I'm telling you right now, the day I retire from my job as a firefighter, I will retire as an instructor, because I'm no longer relevant. I don't go to fires anymore.
Yeah, that's definitely a unique way to look at it. Because you hear all of it. I mean, we've been fortunate to go to a bunch of trainings, and that's kind of the unfortunate side that you start hearing from people, is like, oh yeah, we asked this person to come, but they were just insanely expensive. Like, we hired 3 instructors for that one person's cost, and like, those people are having the time of their lives there to have an opportunity to do it. Like,
I've been charging my overtime rate since I started.
Yeah.
I don't. It's ridiculous. I mean, I unless the only person I would pay over $1,000 for would be Norm from Cheers. That's worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, keeping kind of that same idea or the outlook that we're talking about, what is your advice to those members in the fire service who not as much seem like they know everything, but are really promotion focused and trying to find the fastest route, and kind of goes hand in hand with, I feel, how you're talking about, you've noticed a lot in the service?
I'm never going to deter anybody from promoting. There's so many reasons to promote. There's so many reasons why. I can tell you that it is, especially being a company officer, it is one of the hardest things in the world I've ever done. It's a very daunting responsibility. It can drain you mentally and physically. And there's a lot of responsibility in that right front seat. And not to take a shot at any volunteer fire service, because I'm a life member of my fire company. I'm proud of it. My son just joined the volleys. And I'm happy to see him do that.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
But I can say this, it is very different doing it professionally day in and day out. And I'm not talking about the fires. I'm not talking about the emergencies. I'm talking about all the other bullshit that comes with it. There's a whole human resources side to being management. And, so promote for the right reasons, and, make sure you're ready for it. Make sure you're ready for it. I can say confidently, I was, ready for the firematic part of it, because I did the due diligence of my career to try to get as much experience as possible, and I wanted the next challenge. However, I was not ready for the management side of it, of people and personalities and situations. And, I got shoved into being a company officer in a firehouse during COVID was one of the most wild experiences I've ever experienced. And I didn't get COVID. I tried to, because there was a $20,000 infectious disease payout from the insurance company. So I was like licking doorknobs and stuff. But I was at work for like days on end.
Yeah.
And it was exhausting. And it was tough. It was a very tough thing. So I promote. It helps your family, helps your pension, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to be in it for the right reasons. You have to. Like, if you're going to manage, people are your greatest resource, and you have to be able to, be in the forefront, lead from the front. We have a whole bunch of new captains that just got made, and they're great guys. Great guys. I was getting ready to call them kids, and they're not. They're men, but they're younger than me. They've been on the job less than 10 years, but that's just how our department is. It's a young department, and it's really cool being able to be a senior captain on my job and have these guys who are newer look to you for a little bit of advice. It's kind of like a full circle moment, and you feel good that they want to call you for situational advice.
Yeah. That's something that we're curious about. We've talked about a lot from people across the country. Like, have you guys noticed as well that the fire service just got extremely young? Like, is that
It did. It's across. Yes, it did. And if you look at like how fire departments, like the history of them in the last maybe 75 years, this is actually a trend. It's a trend, especially in my job. This is a trend. So, I mean, and we're getting ready to hire again. So it'll all be young guys. I call this thing the wheel. We're on the wheel, right? So it doesn't matter who comes on the job, come on the job, but we got to show these guys everything we know, so the wheel can keep spinning. Mm-hmm. So like everything I know, I try to impart on anybody around me who wants to know it. Now, are there days when I go in the firehouse and I don't want to see a person? Yes. And I'll be like, stay away from me. I don't feel like doing anything today. Right. However, you got to keep the wheel going. You got to grease the wheel. You got to keep it going. You got to share information. You got to get these guys in the right place. So the program that you push, or the program that was taught to you, you can teach it to them, and it keeps going. Like when I go to any one of the retired events, all the retired guys get together every Friday for lunch at this one bar right near me, and I go like once a month. And they always ask me about fires, what's going on, and they like hearing that the stuff they imparted on us, we're still doing. And they like hearing that we're imparting it on other people.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the good part of tradition in the fire service.
It's the greatest tradition. The greatest tradition is teaching people the job. Yeah. That is the greatest tradition we have.
It's awesome. Talking about continuing to teach and everything, we saw that at Nebraska, this was one of your things. And when we actually saw you present, you talked about it a lot. How do we, as the fire service, as either the company officers, firefighter, whoever carries it, use the tick as a tool and not as a crutch?
So I don't think you should be handed thermal imaging until later in your training. I think you should learn fire behavior without it. I think you should learn search without it. I think you should learn fire attack without it. I think you should learn how to find fire without it, and then be handed it as a tool in the toolbox. Mm-hmm. I can tell you, firemen suck at batteries. We just suck at anything battery operated. We ruin the life of the battery. Because we keep it in the charger. That's what we do. I mean, who keeps a flashlight in the charger all the time? I don't. Like my personal flashlight, I charge it when it needs charging. I don't leave it in the docking station 24/7 until I use it. That's dumb, right? That kills the battery life. If you actually read the manual, it says it in there. I was on a fire a couple months ago, and it came in people trapped, and I went to fire the camera up at the top of the stairs, and it died right in my hand. So I was like, oh well. So I think managing expectations with a battery tool is important. I see some of the stuff out there. I can't stand the fucking dollhouses. I think they're stupid. How can you teach fire behavior without a furnished home?
Sure.
It's insane to me. These dollhouses. What are you showing me? The air movement? Like I I don't know what you're showing me because there's no furniture in there. It's the same thing with a burn can. It's pallets and hay. Brothers, sisters, when you go to a house fire, it's not like pallets and hay. It's very different. The smoke's gnarlier. The heat's more. Like it lays differently. So I think managing expectation was 4. And if you want to be a thermal imaging person, you always see them like right here. Put that thing out more. Just scan it. I keep a clip right here. I wear the Seek Pro. Love the Seek. They just sent me some more cameras. We've been using them. They're unbelievable. I just scan real quick, down. I don't crutch on it because when I came up in the fire service, there was only one thermal imaging camera and it looked like my mom's turkey roasting pan. It was that big. So it's like, it was red. It weighed like 730 pounds. And I was like, oh, what the fuck's that thing? I don't want to no. So it's, I think thermal imaging is unbelievable. I just think we're going about it the wrong way, but there's too many people with these dollhouses and dollhouse does nothing for me. Like my son was watching the videos the other day. I was like, turn that shit the fuck off right now. You're not going to learn anything.
Yeah. They're giving them to like everybody too. Cause there's all those packs that are coming with the little thermal imaging in the like heads up display as well. I've seen, I don't know how many places actually do have it, but I know that's like an option. I think maybe it's both MSA and Scott have.
Another thing to break.
Yeah.
Right? Another thing to break that won't get repaired properly. People just try too hard, man. Try way too hard.
Yeah.
People are getting more reliant on the tick.
Well, absolutely. It's technology, but keep it
the basic.
But we did a lot of fire duty without thermal imaging cameras. We put out fires. We made rescues. Like when it comes to search, we shouldn't be teaching search for the camera first. We should be teaching room orientation and getting your hand off the goddamn wall. That's what we should be teaching. Then we can hand you a thermal imaging camera and go into that aspect of it.
Yeah. Just like you said, the shit dies, instantly. I just had a fire the other day and they pulled up to it and my captain was like, fucker's dead. I was like, I just checked it this morning. It's like full battery. It died like
battery,
that.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's battery operated.
You have to learn how to do like the basic shit.
How many times you put a portable radio battery, a brand new portable radio battery in the portable radio and it's chirping already? You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I just got it out of the charger. And it was green. So it's just batteries. We're not good at batteries.
No.
Not our thing.
Keep it on the training aspect. How do you provide the most realistic training that you can, not only in your classes, but also at your firehouse?
So where I work, I have an abundant resource of abandoned buildings I can go inside of. So for example, we can walk through a building and I can show you the voids of fire travel. I can show you, and it's abandoned. So I can puncture a hole in the ceiling if I'd like and pull it down with a hook, because you can pull ceilings with a hook and show you voids and things like that. At work, I keep it so simple. It's more of like training on what we do, but training at work is very difficult because I can't go out of service all the time. I have a whole bunch of other things to do, answer runs. So it's like getting into something integral at work can be tougher unless we do it like as a group, like with a couple other companies. Outside of work with my business, I just try to recreate the fire ground as I know it and make it as realistic as possible with the conditions, meaning furniture and things like that. I mean, the training fires are training fires. It's pallets and hay. I can get you some good fires. It's more about airflow than how many pallets you throw on the burn rack. But it's just recreating reality, putting you around fire, putting you in dark smoke, putting you in uncomfortable situations. So when you're on the fire ground, it isn't the first time you faced that situation. I think it's vital to understand that zero visibility is our work environment. And I feel as a recruit firefighter, you should be in zero visibility every day, so you're comfortable with it. So the first time you get into it, your anxiety level isn't as high as it would be without the comfort level of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Your beginning to that question gave me the jealous reminder that you guys don't run EMS. So I just
we do CPR. We do
you do CPR. You do CPR. That's I remember that from the first time you talked about that. All you do is fire and CPR. So no picking up MEMA.
Well, if you're on the engine, you do CPR runs. If you're in the truck or rescue, you don't do them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, you might lift a fatty too. You might have to go lift a fatty.
Okay. All right, good to know that no matter where you go, you can't get away from that. That's good.
No, and the bigger they are, the higher they are. You know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The more disabled you are, the higher they are too.
Like,
Yeah.
you're 700 pounds. You're going on the 17th floor. It's a great spot for you.
Yeah,
Always
Just
the second or-
quadriplegic, all the way to the
We're
top.
putting you. Yeah, get up there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like natural selection or what they're trying to do there. But
Who knows?
Well, yeah, that wraps up all the generic or focus questions that we have for you. So now Brendan's got the generic questions that we ask everybody each year. And wherever you dive into them is where we'll take them.
these have changed except one, and the first one is that one. Why are we here?
For the people to call 911. We're a service. We're a service. It's like, why is the gas company here? Why is the electric company here? Why is the mailman here? We're providing a service. It's that simple. And people that over engineer it are, I don't even know. But we're here for the people that dial 911.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
It's awesome that even though, like when we were talking before and you mentioned here that you said so much has changed, but I believe that's your exact same answer that you gave over a year ago on the episode when we
That'll
asked
never,
you the first time.
I mean, that'll
it
never
doesn't
be
change.
different. No, that's
Yeah.
why they call us.
That's awesome.
Next one. Where did you discover your passion for training?
My father. My father's the one who did it for me, because as a kid I would watch him train firefighters, and I saw how rewarding it was for him when he saw people succeed. I think one of the greatest gifts that have been given to me by him is the gift of humility. And some of the guys that have worked that I've had as probationary firefighters, watching them succeed on the fire ground and doing things that were taught to me that I taught to them is just so gratifying. It's a very gratifying feeling. It's therapeutic, but I genuinely care about making firefighters better. Like, I really do care about it to a fault. To a fault. And it's just something that's, I think if you have an experience level and a skill set, you should be sharing it with everybody in a way that's positive, not negative.
Yeah.
I like that. Awesome. Next one is, what piece of advice were you given early on in your career that stuck with you?
Don't be an asshole.
I like that.
Don't be an asshole. Just
Humble.
be who you are. I think authenticity is one of the biggest things missing in human life. I think everybody, male, female, I think everybody's trying to be somebody they're not in life. I see it a lot where I live with people, and keeping up the Joneses type thing. And I think just being yourself is one of the greatest things you can do for yourself mentally. I think it's one of the greatest things you can do for yourself professionally. I think it's one of the greatest things you can do for yourself in general, because if you're always the same person and you're yourself, then people know what they're getting. People know what they're getting. I mean, they might not like it, but at least they can't take that away from you.
We were just having this conversation with one of my buddies about, like, I'm sure you've got those guys that everybody says, oh, once you get them outside of work, like, they're great, love hanging out with them here, but then totally different person when they get to work. Like, we don't understand that, how especially how long that we're at work, how you can, like, it must be exhausting to be that different person, or why you have to change when you walk in the door.
I don't understand. I mean, listen, there's work me. I'm not going to lie to you. Sure. I mean, there's work everybody, right? However, I try to be the same person. I don't, there's no sugarcoating it, because there are times in my life, especially like in my late 20s, early 30s, where I was trying to be somebody I'm not. And it's like, it was exhausting. And I'm 42 years old, man. What you get is what you get. And I try to impart that on my children. Just be yourself. Be yourself.
Yeah. Don't have to pretend to be anybody you're not.
Nope.
The last kind of generic one that we got is, what conferences and or trainings do you think every new firefighter should attend? I know there's a lot of them popping up around, but What are
I mean,
some?
I can't pinpoint one specific.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
I mean, obviously, I'm going to say come see us and train with us. Obviously, I'm partial to that. However, I think you're going to get maybe the same experience at maybe any conference you go to, because it's not so much about the speakers or the instructors. It's more about the networking with the people that are like-minded around you, and kind of maybe learning how people do things. I think that's one of the coolest things I get when I go places is I learn how people do things, and it's neat. It's neat to me. And there are some things people do that I'm able to bring back to my department, and maybe a hose lay, or how they do this or how to do that. I think it's more of the networking than anything. You know, I try. I'll tell you what. I just came back from this Nebraska conference. It was, and I'm sorry, guys and gals from Nebraska if I misquote the conference, but it was put on by the Nebraska Fire Instructor Institute or organization. I'm sorry, I forgot it already. It was the best ran conference I've ever been to. I've ever been to it, and I've been to a lot of them, and the biggest ones. And this blows the biggest ones out of the water. And the coolest thing I liked about this conference is that they kept the entire conference together. We ate together, we hung out together. Like there was no, you couldn't go off in a click. Like we were, how they did it. And I'm not going to use the word force, but they put us in an area where we're all together, and everybody was laughing and networking and just having a great time. It was very, very laid back, and I really, really enjoyed that. And it was all in one location. It was really neat, and my hat's off to them for doing that, because most conferences aren't like that.
Yeah.
And it was really, 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 really cool to see. And it's a conference that I will definitely be going back to, even if I don't teach there. I am going to go back and hang out there, because it was really cool, really cool.
That's
I'll
awesome.
check that one out then.
Yeah, add it to our list.
You're going to see a lot of cows.
We have a lot of cows in Wisconsin.
We got a lot of cows in Wisconsin. Yeah.
I mean, these people love cows, man. Love them.
We do seem to have more bars per cow ratio, though. It does seem everywhere we go. Wisconsin's got a lot more.
Dude,
a lot more bars.
there was no Uber, like a rideshare service. And I'm like, do you guys all have DUIs? Like, how does it work around here? Like, I don't. Like, how do you get home from the bar?
Yeah, take chances. This is a game every day.
Yeah, and you sleep outside. Like, I don't know. It was wild. It's wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think the conferences, start local and kind of get a foot of where your local area is, and kind of extend off that. And want to start going to conferences, just find some local ones to go to. And
yeah, I mean,
don't be conferences.
Don't be afraid to learn. Get out there. You might go, and then you might be like, "This wasn't for me." Okay, well, don't. That doesn't mean they're all like that, you know.
Yeah.
And I think as an instructor, if you are out there traveling on the conference circuit, I think making yourself readily available to the people attending the conference is very important. Very important. You don't need to go off with the clique of instructors and drink and party. I think the best thing to do is mingle with the people that attended, and let them pick your brain or have conversations with them. I think it's a good way to be.
Yeah, that's always, especially Brett and I have attended a lot of conferences, and always as students, and that is the best thing that we've had, is like we met so many of the guests that we bring on this episode and the instructors because of that. They come out to the bars, they hang out, like they purposely are trying to, like you said, I think they have a passion to make the fire service better, and they're not just there for a paycheck. They're actually there to help, and they understand that bar time, that after course, you can learn just as much, if not more, than the actual classroom time.
100%. That's a very honest statement.
Well, awesome. That wraps up all the questions that we have for you. So now the last two that we have is our question from our previous guest, and then you are going to be tasked with coming up with a question. So our question for you is from our last guest, which was Joe Gangler from Madison, down by us. And his question is, at what point of your career were you inspired to create Eckert Fire Tactics?
It was 2018. I was hurt and laid up, and had nothing to do but be on my cell phone, and I would just see things, and I wouldn't necessarily agree with them, or I would see things that I thought I could maybe interject some more positivity into, or my ideas. I think a lot. I'm a thinker. I journal a lot. My journal's right here. I journal a lot. I write things down. I draw things. So that was kind of like my catalyst. And I have many regrets. Don't get me wrong. But right now, I'm in the clearest minded place with it I've ever been. And yeah, it was just it was being laid up with time and exploring the interwebs. I wasn't really into social media at the time, and I had it to follow like Barstool and like the Flyers and the Phillies and some recipes and stuff, and um, it just sent me in a direction. I just kept going and going and going with it. I mean, it's kind of boring, but it's I don't know. It's not like it wasn't like a light bulb like went off my head or anything like that. It's just that was the catalyst.
Yeah, we've heard that from truthfully a lot of like the firefighters that we have on here that have side businesses, whether it's fire service related or not. Like the one that comes to mind is Taylor's Tins. I mean, he had a work injury, and in that time, like you said, he was laid up, and he started really working on that side business, and all of a sudden for him it became his main business. But like it seems like we just can't stay still, the firefighters, and that firefighter in you, and usually that little passion starts turning into something cool. So it's not a boring story. It's kind of a cool continuation.
Well, your mind's a wild place, and when you can't occupy it every day with like mundane things, it goes in very weird directions of what you're gonna do. And it's been a great ride. I've met so many amazing people. I've also met some complete scum of the earth people, complete scum. And I've learned a lot about people, and I've learned a lot about myself. And it's a journey that I have no idea how long I'll continue with. There are days where I just want to hit the delete button and go dark. But then you'll get like a message, hey man, went to your class, tried this, it worked, thank you. And you're like, what the fuck? Like this guy had to do this. And I have a love-hate relationship with it personally. However, when I'm in the moment of doing it, it's very gratifying and therapeutic to me.
Yeah, you share very, very insightful things. I know, like we said, we follow, and there's a lot of awesome gems in there, because we've talked about the conferences, getting beers, all that, but especially seeing the instructors that you've gotten to meet or you've gone to see when they're active on social media, especially I think our generation, which spends a lot of our time on our phones with that little computer. Like, it's nice that you can be sitting at the kitchen table or sitting at home on the shitter, and hey, here's like a 5-minute training. Like you just see something and it makes you think and makes you better yourself, and it doesn't even feel like you're really working on it.
It's true. I think the one of the great things about social media is that point right there is you can get a small tip or trick or see something that you might have never seen before. And it's one of the things I try to really hammer down on my social media is I try to put experience-based stuff out there. And I'm not saying like you did it once, like this is a tried and true thing and it works. And maybe you've never seen it before, and I can bring it to you via GoPro, or people that I have relationships with who share their GoPros with me. That's an important aspect of it to me. It really is to give the audience something that is not only endearing, but they can use or they can see. And I love that anything that I do I like the thought that maybe it sparks a conversation at the table at the firehouse. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. That was all the questions we have for you. Now's the hardest part, because you also are going to have the first unique question, because the next guest that we'll be having that you are going to be coming up with a question for is our first law enforcement. So this year we're trying to do, we had our first civilian, which was pretty cool. We have one more civilian, and we have our law enforcement, and we have an EMS. So we're kind of trying to get everything, see a bunch of different perspectives. So the question, or the guest is going to be, he's a Beaver Dam law enforcement police officer. So I worked with him. Brendan still works with him. He is a awesome dude. He is determined, a go-getter. And yeah, he's just a solid guy. His wife is a firefighter paramedic, so he knows a little bit about the fire service. He's one of those guys that he'll lend you a hand on a call. It doesn't matter if he's a cop or not. If you need help doing shit, he's right there. And so yeah, whatever question you got for a cop.
I got 2 questions. Number 1, which is something I think about very often. I think about this all the time. Like, and I talk about it. Why do you guys all have the same haircut? Like, what's the deal? What's going on there, dude? Like, it's okay. You can let your hair grow a little bit. Experiment with it. Slick it back. I don't know. Do something. So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is, does he think that, because the law enforcement is also very young. I don't know if you guys are seeing that. These cops are younger and younger.
Yeah.
And when I came up, a lot of the police officers were volunteer firefighters. So they kind of understood like how maybe like a fireground works. Does he think maybe in the academy, there should be an emphasis on the other public safety entities they interact with having some type of training of what they do at their incidents? And I'm not talking like large scale incidents. I'm talking like a bedroom fire or a motor vehicle accident or something like that. Like if we all, I don't want to say cross train because that means like we're learning each other's jobs, but we got together maybe at the entry level in the academy and like kept it going. Would you think that'd be beneficial? Because I think it would.
Yeah. And Brennan, you're still there, so you can speak on it, but that in Beaver Dam, that they ride along. So when you get hired, you ride along, you come to the fire department, you see how it's done.
That's great.
The
we used to do
relationship that we have is amazing.
We used to do that back in the day when I first got on. When you got hired at the communication center, because we're county dispatch, they would send the new dispatchers up to ride along with us, and they got a lot out of that.
Yeah.
I think it's vital. Like you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? Like I don't know anything at all of police work other than what I see, right? And watching cops, like that's it. So I think maybe having a better understanding of how they operate and how we operate, I think that'd be beneficial.
Very fortunate, our relationship in our FD with the police department where I work. Yeah, like Bryce said, they ride an 8-hour day with us. So
that's awesome.
They do their CPR. We teach
refreshing to hear,
how it works, what breaks you grab on like a CPR call, or little shit like that. We had this one guy. I'm not gonna put any names out there, but he comes to the firehouse like every shift. Like he works at night. He comes sits up with us. We have a great relationship. But then he's like, I want to learn more. So we taught him how to set up our IV tubing, our bags. Taught him a bunch of like first aid stuffs and shit like that. And he's like one of us in the back of the ambulance. Like he comes in back there. He's like, all right, I'll set this up for you. I'll do that for you. I was like, there's no other fucking police department that's doing this right now. And I thought that was so cool. Like he has everything done.
There's a benefit to it. I would like to hear his opinion. But if you ask me, if you're like, yo, Bob, you want to learn how to set up my IV bag? I'd be like, I hear my mom calling me, dude. I gotta go.
Yeah, I think when there's actual video evidence of this, which is awesome. When I was still down there, we had a house fire, and it was right at the city-county line. So we had county sheriff coming in and our city PD that were going to it. And there's body cam footage of the city officer. He pulled like way out of the way. And he gets out of the car and he's running. He's trying to see if there's any victims or anything. And a sheriff comes screaming up and stops dead in front of a fire hydrant. And you have the city cop's body cam, him running over, yelling like, "Get the F out the way!" Like, move! Like, and we were like, "That is amazing!" Like,
that's good to hear. I like hearing.
We were able to have that happen was awesome.
I love hearing that. Cool.
Well, yeah. That is all the questions that we have and that you have to come up with us. So thanks again for coming on this last section. If you got any shout outs that you want to give, any things you want to touch on, any trainings you got coming up, basically just anything you want to get out there is all yours before we wrap it up.
No, nothing really. Had a little bit of a slow start to the year due to some personal reasons and some business wise. My bank changed ownership and I've had money locked out of my bank for months. I'm fighting with them right now. So we usually have an open enrollment announced already. Look for it probably at the end of February, early March for our first open enrollment of the year. And EckertFireTactics.com will get you in our system. Follow me on Instagram, Eckert_335. And if you need anything, reach out. I answer every DM.
Yeah, he does. He's on here because of it. So, but thank you so much for coming on again. And thank you everybody for listening and watching. It's been awesome. Episode 38. Can't wait for more to come. And yeah, as always, don't be a shitbag.
Yeah,
there you go. Enjoy, guys.
Don't be a shitbag.
Thank you.